What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hez Project, and we're going to continue on with our brand new event of Hezween. It's the first ever Hezween where I select a handful of horror Halloween themed movies and review them for you during the month of October. And we're going to do the second film of this year, Halloween 2018. It is a sequel to the original 1978 John Carpenter directed Halloween. It ignores all of the sequels afterwards, and it's the true second film. And it's called Halloween. I know. I wanted to get that first gripe out of the way because that is very silly. I mean, why would you purposely make a sequel to a film 40 plus years ago and title it the exact same thing? Sure, yeah, it's got the franchise name in it, Halloween, but like throw a subtitle in it or something else that gives it an identity right out of the gate. But I can't complain too much because guys, this movie ruled. I enjoyed myself from start to finish with Halloween 2018. It is I like it better than the original. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. If you guys haven't seen my review of Halloween 1978, go check it out right now. It's on the channel. It's the last movie review I did before this one, I believe. So go check that video out, then come back here. You'll get my full context of my mindset, what I think about both films, and why I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I did not grow up watching Halloween 1978. I've never seen it up until just a few weeks ago. So I've seen so much advancement in the industry of film, so much advancement in cinematography, and just what makes a film different from other films. Because like I've said in my review for the first one, I feel that film and TV from back in the day, like I'm talking 70s and even before that, definitely before the 70s, it all felt the same in the way it was shot. Nothing felt unique and different. It all felt like it existed in the same world, in the same universe, because it was shot the same and it was looked the same. Because cinematography wasn't as adventurous and different and vast that it is nowadays. TV shows have their own distinct look and movies have their own distinct look. And that's what appeals to me the most about Halloween 2018 compared to Halloween 1978. It feels dramatic, it feels thrilling, and it feels suspenseful. There was a different time period and they just didn't embrace that type of violence and brutality that you see nowadays. That's just mainstream. And let me tell you, the 2018 version is not this balls to the wall, oh, we're seeing him snap necks and whatnot. No, as a matter of fact, we get a nice blend of both things. You know, we get that gory stuff, but we just get a glimpse of it. We don't see Michael Myers breaking someone's jaw or anything, but we see a dead dude on a counter with a jaw broken, like stretched out. And it's just something about the implication of what happened minutes prior, seconds prior to the scene, to the shot that we're seeing on screen, that brings the thrill to me. And I just think that that was a much smarter way of going about that, as opposed to very lackluster kills in the 1978 version. And again, I understand it's not fair because it was part of the times and you don't kill people like that in the 70s because that wasn't mainstream. As I mentioned in my 1978 Halloween review, I love the music and I didn't know it was actually composed by John Carpenter as well. That's pretty cool. He composed a really great score for that film and they brought it back in this one. They just touched it up a little bit and made it more refined and I loved it. Dude, I loved so many things about this 2018 version, just how everything was shot. The suspense building scenes with the great music creeping in every second just made for a really great experience. Something that I just didn't have watching the original. And once again, we are joined by Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays the character of Laurie from the original. She's reprising her role 40 years later, and she looks great. She's really great in this film. I did like her character a lot more in this one. I still liked her in the original too. Just a lot of her friends in the film I thought were written kind of poorly. They were just existing to get killed because they wanted to bang on Halloween night because they were getting the houses to themselves and then boom, dead. They're dead. But I love where this movie took the character of Laurie and how she grew up very paranoid and she raised a daughter in a very hostile home environment. But she's fine. Like you can see in this movie, she's not troubled like Laurie is. She even tries to explain to her daughter about her childhood and how she grew up learning to shoot, learning to do all this and that. And yeah, I didn't buy into her being a badass because, oh, your mom taught you all this when you were a kid. Like, you were just sunshine and rainbows up until you started telling your daughter this dark past. And it was like, I don't believe you then. All right, I believe Lori would do this, but I don't believe you endured it, you know? I forgot her name, but the granddaughter of Lori in the film, she's decent. She's not amongst the terrible kids in the movie. Again, there's just a bunch of other kids in here that are, I feel the same way about them that I did with the kids in the 1978 version. They just exist to get killed and to bone on Halloween night. I will say though, there was this one kid being babysat by this blonde-haired girl who got murdered by Michael Myers. He was funny as hell, and I would love to see him again, probably Halloween Kills. I gotta look that up actually. I would love to see him. He made me laugh. Anytime a horror movie can flavor in some action and just sprinkle on top a little bit of comedy, it appeals to me 10 times more than just your standard horror film. And I think this movie being written or co-written by Danny McBride, who I think is like one of the funniest actors. I find him funny. I like his movies. I think it was strange to see that he was producing and co-writing the film, but hey, I think he did a good job. I think this movie is well written. I'm not excusing that though. You can't poorly write teenagers wanting to trick or treat, bone, then get slashed on Halloween night. That's not what I'm saying, but it seems like it's a Halloween tradition at this point. Let's talk a little bit about the character of Michael Myers, in which in the first film I thought they did a really good job with. They didn't overexpose him as I thought they might have. Who knows, they might do that in the sequels that are now forgotten, but yeah, I think they did a really good job kind of keeping him very mysterious up until that end where, you know, he aided in his own death. I just love the cinematography of when we first get introduced to Michael Myers in this film, how he's just chained up to the ground in his psych ward, not paying attention, not doing anything, just standing there, dude, like he's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking, and the movie's not telling me what he's thinking, and that scares the shit out of me. The movie kind of just crashes a prison bus off screen, and that's how he escapes. It's kind of a lazy way to get him going again, but hey, when he got going, that was the most intense the movie got for me. I just loved having those intense, close, personal scenes where the camera followed Michael Myers and you were kind of like him for a second. It's almost like how the 78 version opened up in the first person aspect where he grabbed the knife. Like we didn't really get first person in here, but we got a lot of tracking shots following Michael house to house during Halloween night with all the kids dressed up in costumes and masks, trick-or-treating door to door, house to house. He just swept in there, dude. He blended right in and nobody saw it coming. And I just felt the impact and the gravity of the situation so much more in this film than I did in that one. And again, do I have to keep explaining myself? It's just the way of modern filmmaking today that I'm more attracted to. I love what people can do with cinematography and what they can do to make a film stand out, and I just think this one stands out more than the original. Bit of a spoiler, it's like 3 years old now, so if you haven't seen it, that's not my problem. But there's a doctor who was basically around in the movie, just like in the first movie. There was a doctor throughout the whole movie, and instead of that doctor shooting Michael, and then Michael helps the doctor by, oh, let me help you, sir. I'm just gonna climb on this ledge, and then just instead the doctor in here, he shoots a police officer that was about to kill Michael Myers because, well, Michael Myers is property of the state or whatever, and he wants to study the root of evil. And for a brief second, I really did feel like this was going to be some sort of WWE heel turn, where this doctor and Michael Myers are now like, they're this brooding faction, that they're just going to reign across town. But then he helps Michael into the car so that he could, you know, I guess bring him back to the psych ward or whatever. And then Michael just starts kicking the chair and crushes the doctor in the steering wheel. Why'd you gotta throw that weird twist with the doctor if ultimately like not even 2 minutes later, it's not gonna mean anything because he's dead now. That's one of those instances where drama was just weaved into the final cut of a film for the sake of drama. I will say the climax of this film, where we get tracking shots of both Laurie inside her big log cabin trying to find Michael, and then we get another tracking shot of Michael trying to find Laurie. I just loved that, dude. It was really intense. It was at nighttime, but Laurie had all these big beaming lights coming through the window so that she can see every dark crevice and corner in her house. And it made for almost like a daytime scene, a daytime slasher scene. And it worked. All three of the girls, Laurie, her daughter, her granddaughter, they team up and take down Michael Myers. They lock him inside of their basement, and Laurie rigged the entire log cabin to blow. Like, okay. I kind of sat up in my chair pretty quickly and was like, oh shit. When the spikes closed the door for the basement and Michael was just trapped down there, he was just staring up there like... To wrap this up, guys, I had a lot of fun with this film. It's probably one of the more entertaining horror films I've ever watched, and that's being 100% truthful. I gotta give props and respect to John Carpenter and his work that he put into the 1978 version. Fantastic work, I'm not denying that, but it just didn't connect with me as much as this one did. And it's just the era I was born in. I'm more attracted to modern filmmaking and how that looks as opposed to everything that came out back in the day. It's just, it's not appealing to my eye. And I think the cinematography in here is the best way I could put why I like this movie, the 2018 sequel slash remake, whatever you want to call it. It's called Halloween. It's the same thing as the original. It's why I like this one more than the original. So if you disagree, well, like I said in my other video, you're allowed to like the original. Go like it. I'm not telling you not to. This is my opinion, my thoughts. That's why you guys come here. So anyways, guys, that is my review of the 2018 Halloween film. It is the sequel to the original 1978 Halloween. Let me know down below, have you gotten a chance to check out that film? And what do you think about it? Do you understand where I'm coming from? The differences that I try to point out in this video? Let me know down below. All your thoughts down below. Also, I wanted to throw into this video, I just recently made some Hezween merch over on the teespring.com website. I know we're like 12 days into October and I'm making Halloween merch. So I don't know how long that stuff's gonna take to ship, but if you want to check out the link anyways and see all the merch that I picked out and made for you, I got that cool little Hezween logo that I have in my thumbnails for these videos on shirts, hats, masks, whatever. I picked a lot of random merch that I thought would be cool. So click that link down below if you want to check out some Hezween merch. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for my review. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be sure to stick around because I'm going to be reviewing Halloween Kills this Friday. You might want to stick around because there's always more to come.